This is a HeadGum podcast.
Hello and welcome to The Complete Guide to Everything, a podcast about everything. I'm one of your hosts, Tom.
And I'm Tim.
Tim, how are you doing this week?
Tom, I'm in a great mood. I finished watching The Sopranos this week.
Oh, you woke up this morning and found yourself a gun.
Yes.
Is that how the song goes?
I think it's got yourself.
You found yourself a gun.
Man, that group of the wacky mobsters.
I thought you meant like the group that made that song.
No, what? That's like a Dutch group or something?
Oh, is it? I could see that. That sounds like it could be Dutch. It's got that going on in the background. No, it's a British band. Oh, okay, never mind.
Alabama 3.
Well, how confusing.
What the heck?
Yeah. And then why would you have a band called Alabama? What, Alabama 3? Is that what they were called?
Alabama 3.
Why would you have them make a song about New Jersey?
Right.
Yeah. Well, I had no idea it was such an international production.
And there's a band, Alabama.
Yeah.
Is there an Alabama?
That's Alabama 1.
Is there an Alabama 2? That would be a pretty funny name for a band. We should do it.
Yeah, would it be that funny of a name for a band? As you might notice, our name is a play on the fact that there is a band called Alabama.
It's as good as any other band's name.
And a band called Alabama. Oh, you're not familiar with the Alabama 3. They performed the title track for The Sopranos.
Yeah, we'd open every show with that.
Uh-huh. And then we'd cover that song. We'd cover the Got Yourself a Gun. And then we'd cover some songs by Alabama.
What was Alabama doing?
I don't know.
Were they Carry On My Wayward? No, that was Kansas, right?
Yeah, it's confusing because there's a few state, and then you got
Not
bands
to
like
mention
Chicago.
The cities, yeah.
Yeah, Chicago,
Boston.
The band. And
Is there a band called New York?
I'm sure there
there's
has
New York
been.
Dolls.
Yeah. Yeah, and you've also got a lot of famous bands from Boston.
Tom,
like Aerosmith.
Number one singles. You know how many number one singles Alabama has?
How many?
40.
40? How are they 40?
I don't know. Over 40. Number one hit singles on a variety of industry charts. Hold on.
I see.
Okay. 33 number ones on Billboard's Hot Country Songs chart. That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's a
Tennessee River, Old Flame, Mountain Music, Dixieland Delight. I don't know any of these songs. Oh, You've Got the Touch? That's not
You've Got the Touch.
Is it?
That
no,
one?
It can't be. No, it's a country rock song.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, how are you doing this week? Come on. They came out with a song in 1989 called Song of the South. Come on.
I mean, they are Alabama, Tim.
I know.
You think Alabama's got a lot of woke fans? And a lot of.
I was considering it.
Yeah. Well, I would stop considering it
because they have a song called "Touch Me When We're Dancing."
Oh. Yeah. It's nice, I guess. Tim, I'm doing pretty good this week.
What the hell is going on with this? Sorry, I'm on a Wikipedia. Now, you know what? The Touch Me When We're Dancing is an Alabama song.
Yeah.
But it was also recorded by a band called Bama.
Bama?
Yeah.
Huh.
Which is like the slang version for Alabama.
Right. I wonder if that's like a minor league team or something.
Yeah.
Maybe they've got a few minor league bands working on material for them, and sometimes they get bumped up to the majors.
I don't know what's going on here. Okay, sorry. How are you doing this week? I was ignoring you.
I'm doing pretty good, Tim. I looked at, what was it, last week or the week before? Maybe even the week before that. I was talking about possibly becoming a metal detector guy.
Yeah. Did you buy a metal detector?
No, Tim, but I am thinking about applying for a permit to become a metal detector guy. Apparently in New York City, you need a permit.
Well, where are you going to do it in New York City?
The park. You might even just need it.
You might find some
for the
guy's
parks.
keys.
Yeah, imagine. How exciting.
Now you have this burden of trying to find this guy.
No, it was kind of crazy. First off, it seemed like maybe the permit is free. It also
they just want to know. Come on.
That's kind of what it seemed like. It seemed like it might be the kind of thing where you just like fill out a form online and then they go like, okay, thank you. You're permitted now, but you don't have like a piece of paper or something.
You know what? You get on a list where it's like, oh, now you are, you know how they can like involuntarily institutionalize people? It's like that opts you into like, okay, now you're a candidate.
I thought it would probably be like a list that they give all the cops, like, don't start a conversation with these guys. It has nothing to do with the law. But that was what I thought the interesting thing. Like, first off, a pretty simple form, but then it had like all the rules, which made me think maybe I don't want this permit. Maybe I don't want to agree to all these rules.
What are the rules?
A lot of rules about if you find.
First of all, come on. Can we take a step back for a second?
Sure.
How did you find out that you needed to apply for a permit?
I think I might have just searched like metal detectors in New York City.
Okay. Looking to buy one, and they're like,
not
so fast, my
looking
friend.
to see what the community's like.
If you think you can just waltz in here and detect metal wherever you want, you got another thing coming.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, go on.
But then looking at this permit, like basically what you're doing is agreeing to that if you find anything cool, you'll tell the cops. It's like, I don't want to agree to that. What if I find something?
How are they defining cool?
Like anything either expensive or dangerous.
Okay. Well, dangerous.
And that the cops had, like, if.
Don't tell the cops.
Well, I'd have to. I'd be signing this permit.
I'd tell the mafia guy that I'm paying protection to.
You would tell them about?
Yeah,
what?
Like a
found?
dangerous thing or like or if I found something valuable, they'd help me flip it.
Yeah. I think I'd probably like show like the first cop I could find in the park, which I don't think I've ever seen a cop in the park, so they might be hard. Mm-hmm. Everything I found every day until he got sick of it. And then he'd be like, you don't have to show me stuff anymore. And then that's when I'd find, treasure chest or something like that, presumably. But that also, with this permit, they have the right to take all your findings and like if a cop comes up to you and they're like, hey, what are you doing? You're like, oh, I'm a metal detector guy, I have a permit. They can go, I want to see everything you found. And then if they want to keep something, I think they can.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
it's a good perk of being a cop.
Yeah, you get to shake down the metal detector guys.
I think you'd see more cops in parks, knowing that they can just take whatever metal. That is, Tom, do not sign that paper.
I know. I think I'm just gonna stay like a rogue metal detector guy.
Or why don't you just go like, I didn't find anything?
Because they can search you.
Yeah, but how you'd be like, those are my keys.
Sir, you have 20 pairs of keys in your pocket.
I'm a janitor.
And a bunch of loose diamonds.
Diamonds aren't metal.
They were in a box, though, in this scenario.
Yeah, there we go.
Somebody put them in like an Altoids tin and then buried that.
I always feel like jewels and things in movies are in a glorified Altoids tin, if not an actual Altoids tin.
You got to put them in something, or else they don't really show up on the screen.
Tom, I've been meaning to talk to you about this. Have you seen the new Mission Impossible movie?
No, I haven't seen it yet. I've heard it's bad.
Tom.
Yeah.
It's bad.
Oh, okay. That would explain why I haven't seen it.
There's
why
this
I was
whole
hearing
thing,
it was bad.
It's a whole AI thing. Spoiler alert for...
Yeah, that's what I kind of heard, that AI is the enemy, but it's movie AI, right?
Whatever. Yeah, I mean, you're too deep in AI.
No, but is it like, it will become self-aware and Skynet?
Yeah, I mean, not even that. It just whatever. It can't fall into the wrong hands.
Okay.
But the way that you access it is with these two interlocking keys, right?
They lock into themselves, into each other?
Yeah, so these two keys
lock. That's pretty cool.
Together, and it goes like beep, 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 and there's lights on it and stuff, and then it opens a lock. And spoiler alert, part 1 ends with Ethan Hunt getting the keys. But now he needs to figure out where's the lock.
Oh, okay.
But
so half a movie they sold
So the
us.
bad guy. The bad guy keeps getting his hands on one of these keys, and then he just like throws it in his pocket, and then like has to do action stuff.
Yeah,
and then he's like, "Okay, now for that key," and then like it's like Ethan Hunt has replaced it with a banana peel or something. It's just like maybe if you're getting the key to like all of humanity, like controlling all of humanity, you don't just put it in your jeans pocket and then like
get a chain.
Yeah, or just like, there's got to be a better way to like than just be like, I'm going to put it in my pocket, and then I had to like jump off a moving train, and that might fall out of your pocket. Not to mention that Ethan Hunt is very good at sleight of hand.
Yeah, is he good at sleight of hand?
Oh, in this movie he is.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, he's basically a close-up magician at this point.
Now you're making me lean the other way. That I do want to.
I know, but you would think like. I don't know. If I get something important, if I get like a $50 bill,
right?
And I have to, walk home with it, like it's in my hand the whole time, and I'm clutching it really.
So you wish the bad guy in the Mission Impossible movie just held the key in his hand the whole time?
That at least he would know that it's there. He could feel it in his hand the whole time.
Yeah, but sometimes those close-up guys, they can take things out of your hand.
But he didn't like. It's way easier to get it out of your pocket,
right?
And also, like, he's not like. Also, if you just throw it in your pocket, the key to controlling all of humanity, you would check once in a while, be like, "That key's still there."
Yeah, I do that.
Like
with
my
regular keys.
Yeah, exactly.
Tap on it, make sure it's in there.
Yeah.
Huh?
Tom, I have a hole in my pocket.
No.
In my jeans, and every once in a while. My keys hit it at such an angle that they just fall down my leg, and I had to pick them up from my ankle.
Did you get that sew up that pocket?
Yeah. My wife sewed it up. She was very nice. She's got a sewing kit. But it's breaking through again, Tom. These keys, they're just too sharp.
Wow. Or your wife's not a very good seamstress.
How dare you? That's the main reason I married her.
Because you have all these pants with holes in the pockets.
No. Part of it was the dowry.
Tim, this week we're talking about eclipses. Because guess what? One's coming, baby.
You know what I heard on the car ride over here?
What's that?
Delilah played Total Eclipse of the Heart.
Oh. Did she play the version that ends with "Once upon a time I was falling in love, now I'm only falling apart. Nothing I can do."
What do your eyes just went completely blank as you were saying that. What's happening?
I was trying to think of a funny lyric along the lines of "Nothing I can do."
You know all the words to Total Eclipse of the Heart?
I know those words. I wanted it to be something like "Tried to poop, but I fart," something like that.
Yeah.
Or taking a piss and then fart, something like that. I got to workshop.
Is that like a
more.
previous
song
parody?
It's just something that it's straight off the dome, Tim.
I was thinking about
freestyling there. That's what that 5-second pause was.
I was thinking about that poem. The "Here I sit brokenhearted."
Tried the shit, but only farted.
Yeah. Somebody like
poem.
It's a poem.
It's more of a limerick.
No, it does. It's not the limerick form.
All right. Yeah, because a limerick has to be like.
Yeah.
Where a poem can be. Did I mention I've started teaching poetry at the local university?
Is that poem supposed to be like a badass poem?
You mean
like I saw it like scrawled in like a in a bathroom like that like did like some tough guy write it?
In the bathroom you were in? Or,
yeah.
No, probably not. Probably like a
dweeb?
Yeah, probably I mean, who's writing on the bathroom wall?
I don't know. Ne'er-do-wells.
Yeah, some kind of ne'er-do-well, but I don't think a tough guy.
Yeah.
Tough guy just punches the door off the hinges.
That's true.
And he's done.
I don't know what type of guy enjoys that poem or like
me. I like it.
Poem. And where did I hear that poem? I guess I read it on the wall of the bathroom, but
Yeah,
I knew
probably.
I knew it when I saw it.
I heard it at a slam poetry night. Some guy got up and performed it, and it blew me away. Tim, we're talking about eclipses. Eclipses are technically happening all the time.
Yeah.
But
explain what an eclipse is, Tom.
Well, there are two types: solar and lunar.
Okay.
We are about in the what I guess like the East Coast of New York, mostly Northeast though.
Of
not New York, of America.
Yeah.
Is about to experience a solar eclipse.
Right.
Because
a total solar.
Well, depending on where you are, if you're in the lane of totality or something like that.
Sure.
Because you don't really think about it, but an eclipse.
Tom, according to the failing New York Times, sky watchers in Mexico will be the first to see the eclipse on the mainland. Okay. From there, the show will slide north, entering the United States through Texas, then proceeding northeast before concluding for most people off the coast of Canada.
Okay. Yeah, so it's like kind of diagonally cutting across
I just explained it. Or,
right.
Yeah,
but
Katrina Miller from the New York Times explained it.
I'm painting
aptly
a clearer picture of it for the listener. Are you excited about this solar eclipse coming?
Can I tell you something, Tom?
What?
I've never been excited about an eclipse in my entire life. They might have gotten me once in 6th grade. And they were like, oh, let's put a hole in a box and then look at the box.
Yeah.
And I didn't know what I was looking at. And everybody else in the class was like, ooh, I see it.
Yeah.
And I never understood what I was supposed to see.
The box is like the shittiest way to look at an eclipse. Basically what you're doing is you're just putting your head in a box, right? Mm-hmm. And then through a pinhole, you're looking at like the wall of the box, and then you're just seeing a circle, and that circle's the sun. Right. And then you see the shadow of the moon coming across it.
Yeah, I could do that with a light in my hand.
Yeah, exactly. You're removing all the cool parts, because I remember.
I think you must have this wrong.
I don't, because I remember seeing this myself in school.
Uh-huh.
I don't remember if it was that same.
You must have been in 7th grade.
Yeah, I can't remember if it was that same eclipse or if there was a different one maybe, but I remember like we all had to do like the box thing. And I'm surprised you said everybody else saw it, because I feel like in my class everybody was like, what?
Oh.
And like nobody really got it. And then when it happened, it was just kind of like, oh, well, this sucks. This is the least fun way to watch this thing.
Yeah, I think what happened was like it was explained very clearly to the class, but I was like, yeah, I know, and I was too busy.
Put the box on my head. Look at the sun. I get it.
Yeah, I didn't know. Yeah, I thought it would be like, I don't know, the way it was built up. It seemed like it would like be incredible, not just like a light and then not a light anymore.
Yeah.
Like, okay. I see that every single day of my life.
That's true. Pretty much every day of your life. Not pretty much. You do see some kind of light and then some kind of darkness.
Yeah. Hey, there is no light without darkness.
It's true. It's true, Tim. Sorry, that moved me a lot.
I know. Hey,
I started getting emotional.
Teach that to your class down at the university.
Maybe I will, Tim. I have another.
No, it doesn't rhyme, and everybody knows.
Yeah, but I have another class on Monday, and I that was the only poem I knew.
Well, what about the fart one that I talked about earlier?
That was the one I knew.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
I got. Oh, you want to talk limericks? I got a good one about a guy from Nantucket.
It is a poetry one. It's a limerick class. The library is giving away free glasses.
Yeah, I told you that.
Yeah, well, I'm telling the listeners, so the word gets out finally.
Well, I don't want them to run out before I get there.
All right, well, what are you going to do? Go get it right before the eclipse happens? It's happening Monday.
It's happening Monday.
Yeah. So
but I don't want
pretty
now.
much the
Now
day
it's going to
this
get
episode
the
comes
complete
out.
guide bump.
Yeah. And the libraries. Well, libraries are
I'm
closed
sure
on
the
Sunday.
Adams administration is really keeping the libraries stocked with a lot of stuff right now.
That was. I've been thinking about taking a walk.
This show only goes out to New York City, right?
I think so. I think I checked that box.
There's going to be a time where, we're going to keep doing this for 1,000 years or for the next 40 years. And like the technology will change, or the microphones will be unplugged. And the only people hearing us will be the people outside your window. And we're going to be like, oh, well, hey, everybody in England. But like our wives will be like shaking their heads. I mean, like, these poor fucks.
I don't completely follow what. So you're saying we'll be 80 years old. We'll have forgotten to plug the microphones in, but we'll still do it?
It's just like the technology will be done. And we'll be like, we still have to do our podcast. And our wives will be like, there hasn't been podcasts in 2 decades.
We'll move to shortwave radio.
Yeah. I would like to do live broadcasts over the air.
Yeah.
I would like to get a sports radio call-in show.
You probably can.
You know who couldn't?
Who?
Chris Christie.
That's true. Well, nobody liked him.
I know.
Not that many people like you, though.
That's true.
Yeah, people always say
nobody likes Mike Francesa, but he's on the radio.
Yeah, you've just been on for so long.
Yeah. Maybe
anyway.
I can adopt a more like Jackie the Joke Man persona.
I thought that's what you were doing on this show the whole time.
Well, thank you. That's the nicest thing you've ever said to me.
So the Eclipse, Tim. The library.
I'm more of a Fred Wolf. You want to hear my Fred Wolf impression?
Sure.
Do everlong.
Okay, that's a guy from Howard Stern.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do everlong.
All right. It's Tim's impression. The guy from Howard Stern telling Dave Grohl presumably to do Everlong.
Yeah, when he did that beautiful Everlong acoustic. He didn't even know he had it in him.
Right.
Dave Grohl's like, I don't know how to do this song acoustic, but Fred Wolf knew.
Yeah.
Was his name Fred Wolf?
I don't know. You seem very confident that it's Fred Wolf. Are you saying that you think Dave Grohl owes something to this guy? Because he's the guy that turned him on to...
Fred Norris.
Fred Norris. Okay.
Do everlong.
So that's the new persona Tim's going to adopt soon. Fred Norris.
Yeah. Who's Fred Wolf?
Probably not a real person. Probably just something you came up with.
He's the director of Tommy Boy.
Oh, that must have been who you were thinking of.
No. The uncredited writer of Tommy Boy.
Wow. Why wasn't he credited?
I don't know.
I don't know why I asked you that. Hey, you're just going to read about Tommy Boy for the rest of the show.
The credited writer of Black Sheep.
Oh, okay. Well, he got his due eventually.
Yeah, and the director of Joe Dirt 2, Beautiful Loser.
Wow. I didn't know Joe Dirt 2 had a subtitle like that.
I didn't know there was a Joe Dirt 2.
Yeah, I don't think I feel like that might have been like a Hulu movie or something.
I mean, it was 14 years between Joe Dirt and Joe Dirt 2.
I bet David Spade was still able to pull it off. Able to channel Joe Dirt again. Yeah. Yeah, so Friday I'm going to try and go get these glasses so I can look at the...
Now, what do the glasses do?
They're just very thick, I think.
So they're sunglasses?
No, they're...
Okay.
They are...
You never explained what an eclipse was.
Oh, everybody knows what it is. I'll tell you. Solar eclipse is when the moon gets between the sun and the earth and covers the sun.
Right.
A lunar eclipse is when the earth gets between the sun and the moon and covers up the moon.
Right. Or blocks the sun's light from hitting the moon.
Yeah, the shadow of the earth covers the moon. Which must be freaky if you're on the moon and that happens, huh?
Yeah.
I guess they know ahead of time. They probably give the astronauts a heads up. Hey, just so you know, for about 10 minutes while you're up there, everything's going to go completely dark. Don't panic. Don't call us yelling and screaming. Just relax. It's an eclipse.
Don't call us. I like that. I like the idea of Houston being like, these fucking guys again.
Well, can you imagine how much it costs?
Why do they keep calling us from the moon?
Yeah. Well, it's dark up here. We need help. Send somebody.
Do you think they have to be like, well, we can't go to the moon then. It's going to be, there's an eclipse. It'll get dark. These cowards will wet their pants when they go, I'm afraid of the dark.
I think it probably...
I got out of my chair and it got really dark.
Probably hasn't really... Well, certainly hasn't been an issue for the past almost 50 years, I guess, since we've been to the moon,
Yeah,
right?
but we're going back, baby.
Yeah, well, they'll keep it in mind when they go back.
Would you go to the moon? I'd go to the moon.
Like forever?
No.
How long?
Maybe you die up there.
Yeah. I'd go to the moon.
By the time we get our act together, NASA gets its act together.
Yeah,
it's like, because it's not like,
don't lump us in with that.
It's not like they could be like, okay, we'll go to the moon. Like, we've done it before. We can go next week.
Yeah.
Right? It's still going to take like a few years for them to get it all up and running.
Yeah.
And then they don't want to
can't
send
just go
like
pull all the old shit out of the Smithsonian and send it up again.
And they don't want to send like at that point, a guy our age.
Yeah.
I mean, they sent John Glenn into orbit when he was 100 years old.
Yeah. Yeah, but he had been into space before, Tim. Neither of us have been to space. So
you don't know that.
We might not act in a predictable manner once we get up there. I'd be down to go to the moon. I don't think I'd be interested in going to Mars. Takes too long to get to Mars.
Yeah.
But like the moon, you can go to the moon and back in like a week and a half maybe. I think it takes a few days to get to the moon.
Less than that. These days?
These days. Nobody's been there.
Tom, how old do you think John Glenn was when they shot him as an old man?
He was like in his 80s, I think.
He was 77.
Yeah.
Which, like, I thought I was going to look this up, and it was like, he was 52 and by far the oldest man that... No.
Yeah, no, he was a legit old guy when he went up there.
Hey.
It's pretty cool. So, yeah. Gonna try and get these glasses.
Sorry, I'm thinking about John Glenn now.
They look like 3D glasses.
Yeah.
But then they just have like a very dark film, I guess.
Are they polarized?
I think it might be beyond that, you know?
Okay. Why not just wear sunglasses?
Because you can't look at the sun while you're wearing sunglasses.
Now let me ask you this.
Uh-huh.
If the sun is behind the moon and it gets dark, why can't you look at it?
So I was reading, you can when it's like fully doing its thing, which again, like we couldn't because I don't think we're not in the zone of totality.
Yeah, but
or whatever.
I can like look at the sun for a little bit. I've done it, Tom.
You're not supposed to, but if you were in the zone of totality and it's completely covered, you can look at the corona.
You love saying stuff like zone of totality.
Yes, you can look at the corona of the that's where like the sun's peeking over.
That virus that wreaked havoc?
Yeah, you can look at it. You can see it. Tim, I was reading about, I think it was like one of the last times there was like a solar eclipse. This lady who looked at the sun when they told her, hey, don't look at the sun. So let me say this.
Tom, they make such a big deal out of these eclipses.
Yeah.
And not every little kid is going to look at the pinhole in a box and be satisfied like that with that. You're telling me it's an actual risk. If that was the case, there would be hundreds, if not thousands of children blinded from because you look at it. That's what I did in 6th grade. I took the box off and I looked at it because everybody else was in the boxes. My teacher couldn't see. She was looking at a box too. And I looked at the sun and it was fine. And it wasn't even that exciting.
Tim, I'm looking at this article from 2017 GeekWire. How seconds of staring at the solar eclipse led to a world of hurt for one woman.
For one woman.
Yeah, and it was
sorry
a woman.
To that woman.
I'm a man. I can handle looking at the sun.
I'm sure many women looked at it and they were just fine. I didn't hear about it happening to even one man.
This unnamed woman who was in her 20s, she was in New York. And she looked at the eclipse. This was, remember 2017? Because Trump looked at the eclipse. Everybody was like, wow.
And he was fine.
Yeah, look at him now.
I mean, that guy's never felt a repercussion for anything in his life. Like, yeah. If I had to bet on anyone to look at the eclipse and be fine, it'd be like,
yeah. Also, I can see him being 100% blinded and just never admitting to it.
it's true.
But this woman, she was complaining of blurred vision and went to the hospital or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Physicians said she had viewed the solar rim several times for approximately 6 seconds without protective glasses.
That's too long.
And then again for approximately 15 to 20 seconds with a pair of Eclipse sunglasses. Unknown manufacturer, which is also an important thing. Make sure you get legit glasses of these. There's a lot of factories that usually make 3D glasses, and they're going, hey, how about we put 2 blues in both the eyes instead of a blue and a red, and we tell everybody they're Eclipse glasses.
Right.
And we can, our profits will go through the roof. Wall Street will love it. Wall Street's been down on this 3D glasses company for years.
Right. This is just the thing.
Yeah. So make sure you got like legit ones. Don't just order them off.
Or just look at it for like a couple seconds.
Well,
like
that
this.
too.
You do this. Ready?
Watch.
I'll do this. You ready? Looking, done. looking, done.
And he did it.
Right.
But what if you saw something cool and you're like, whoa.
There's a guy up there.
Yeah. Because if you think about 6 seconds, 1,000. 2,000.
Yeah,
that is a long time
in my
to
life for 6 seconds.
That's a long time to stare at the sun.
Yeah, that's creepy. This lady's a creep.
Well, but listen to this. Where is it? Let me see if I can find it in here. During the peak of the eclipse, about 70% of the sun's area was obscured by the moon, leaving a bright crescent still visible. Mm-hmm. When doctors examined the woman, they found a crescent-shaped scar burned into her retina.
Yeah.
And look at this picture. Like that's a picture of her retina, like a black and white scan or whatever. And it looks like an eclipse happening in her retina.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Now, Tom, I'll tell you this.
What?
I have this built-in thing where when my retinas are being burned, it hurt. Like if I'm looking at something and it's doing damage, it hurts. So I like close my eyes or look away. So that's my thing. It's like, look, it's just a thing where it's like, oh, it'll feel fine and everything will be fine. And then you're doing damage. No, it's going to be like, I'm looking at the sun. The sun.
Look, 6 seconds did this. That doesn't mean like 5 seconds is fine, though. Like you could look at it for only a couple of seconds, and I'm sure it could cause maybe not as severe. You wear glasses, Tim. It's magnifying.
Tom, I went to the best eye doctor I ever went to when I was getting this new prescription.
Yeah,
they did
Tim's motioning with his hands like he took my eyeballs out. Give him a real thorough clean.
Yeah. No, they take pictures or whatever, and he walked me through all my eyes, both of them, both my eyes, and showed me all the things on the computer, and he's like, you got really good eyes.
Oh, he was hitting on you, Tim. He was flirting with you.
And then in 6th grade, this girl came up to me and said, I like a UI.
I like a UI?
Yeah, to me. English was not her first language. It was the sweetest thing anybody ever said to me.
I see. Okay. When
the same year that was a big year for me. Same year of the eclipse, the girl told me that she liked my eyes.
It's all been downhill from there. All right, Tim, you might think an eclipse, it's just all fun and games. It's all just an amusement for children to look at inside a box.
Yeah, an amusement is...
I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I think
that was accurate.
I've heard you say things like that a lot.
Tom, you have a blanket permission to speak for me.
Right. Well, and I have power of attorney over you as well, which you signed due to a trick, but at the time I was already your attorney, so...
Yeah, it was a trick, but at the end of the day,
you're still better off.
I'm not any good with paperwork.
Right. It's not all fun and games, Tim. Sometimes they find stuff out with eclipses. It seems like maybe they found out 2 things. The first one Well, this was the second one, actually. 1919. Sir,
so you're going in reverse chronological order. Okay,
because you're gonna have too many questions about the other one. You're probably gonna have a lot. You're probably not gonna believe this one, but I know the other one is just a lost cause. So I'm gonna start.
I might ask for your sources on this, but let's see how it goes.
So I'm gonna start with the easier one. 1919. Sir Arthur Eddington measured the apparent position of stars seen close to the sun's edge. He showed they were displaced from their true positions due to the sun's gravity bending light, confirming a key prediction of Einstein's theory of relativity, general theory.
Okay. Yeah.
So
I understand they're always being like, see, Einstein was right.
Well, this was before Einstein had come up with his theory.
Right. Oh.
But then when he did, it was like, oh, that explains why Sir Arthur Eddington was seeing. Do you understand what that means?
Yeah, of course I do.
So basically, like, you can't, even though you think it's all right to look at the sun sometimes for a little while, you can't.
Not a little while. A little while is way too long.
Like when Tim's looking very briefly into the upper corner of the room.
Glance. You know that episode of Seinfeld? Mm-hmm. Where Jerry and George are looking at an underage girl's cleavage.
I was it an underage girl? I forgot that part.
It was played by Denise Richards.
Okay.
Or like, I don't know if she was at the time, but it was supposed to be.
It was supposed to be a high school student or something.
And this was at the same time. Maybe a couple of years before even Jerry Seinfeld was dating a high school student.
Uh-huh.
And everybody
what's the deal with that?
But it's like looking at the sun.
Yeah.
You just glance and look away.
Yeah.
So it's good enough for Jerry Seinfeld. Good enough for me.
It's true. Well, yeah, you follow a lot of Jerry Seinfeld's advice about leering at high school girls. I mean, you got to give it to him. He pulled it off.
He like bragged about it in People magazine.
Yeah,
and
he suffered no repercussions. They were like, wow, you thought this guy was really on top of the world. Well, guess what? This 38-year-old man's also dating a high school student.
And Bobcat Goldthwait called him out about it.
in what, one of the Police Academy movies?
No, it is like stand-up or something. You never saw this clip of comedians in cars?
No.
I think it's Bridget Everett is on it.
The comedian, the stand-up, yeah.
Yeah, and they're talking, and Jerry Seinfeld goes off on this rant about Bobcat Goldthwait, about how he's talentless. He's like, he did this stupid fucking voice because he had no act, and he doesn't have a funny bone in his body. But whenever he said his name, they bleeped his name, and didn't even like show his mouth moving. So it's like,
yeah,
left it in.
Yeah, that's weird.
And at the end, she just goes, well, he's a good friend of mine. So I feel very awkward right now.
Oh,
and Jerry's like, you could be friends with him, but like talentless hack and a real piece of shit or something.
Yeah, because I feel like Bobcat Goldthwait's one of those guys you hear constantly that everybody says he's like the loveliest guy. And a very talented guy and like hardworking guy.
Yeah.
Not according to Jerry Seinfeld.
Well, Jerry Seinfeld is the arbiter of what's funny and what's not funny. You
know, it's a funny voice. A voice like this. Why do you have to do anything funnier?
You know what? I think like nobody actually likes his stand-up. I was talking to my dad, and like we're all big Seinfeld the Show fans, not Seinfeld the man. But like, it's like, he's still doing that same stand-up. And my dad was like, his stand-up was never funny, and like he was just like, I thought it was universally agreed that Jerry Seinfeld's stand-up isn't funny. And
because when they showed the clips of him doing stand-up on the show, like you always got like a like a little chuckle out of.
Oh, what are we doing? We're going out. Oh, well, I thought we were staying in. No, in, out. Hey, who's it's just like that.
That's relatable.
I guess,
but you're not gonna piss your pants laughing. I've laughed harder at Bobcat Goldthwait than I have Jerry Seinfeld, I think.
Yeah.
There's
Sorry, I know we're supposed to be talking about the solar eclipse, and you were going to explain Einstein's theory of relativity to me.
Well, what I was going to explain is normally you can't look directly at the sun,
right?
Especially through a telescope. But when there's an eclipse, you can. But guess what? The sun's still there. It hasn't disappeared. And basically, this guy was able to see the gravitational lensing around the sun because the sun's so massive that it's pulling gravity in.
I don't think that's true.
Just a little bit.
It's not that bad. I can cover it with my thumb if I look
so
at it.
So it's bending the light of the stars that are shining, shining at us, but have to go past the sun to do it a little bit. So he's able to prove that, able to show that.
Okay. You thought I would push back on that?
A little bit, but this is the one that I thought you were going to have some trouble with.
You know what more accurately you could have predicted, I would say?
What?
All right. Who cares?
In 1868...
When people explain scientific facts like that to me, I'm just like... Cool. All right. What do you want me to do with this information?
All right. Well, good, because I have some more left field ideas about the sun I'm going to bring up soon.
You worshipping it?
No. And actually, it's more about the moon.
It's Monday at 3 p.m. We need to sacrifice 6 goats.
Look, Tim, they've come and they've told me it's not goats. I wish it was. I asked, can it please just be goats? And they said, no, there's only one way. 1868, total solar eclipse also led to an incredible find, the discovery of helium. Astronomers observed a new spectral emission line from the solar corona indicating the presence of an unknown element. It took 27 years before helium was first isolated on Earth, finally matching the emission line spotted during the eclipse decades
The emission
earlier.
lines? What does that mean? Like
spectral
lines?
Spectral emission lines.
What were they looking at it through?
Telescope.
Well, why didn't the eyes burn up?
Because it was an eclipse. It was covered. I said you can do it when it's like completely covered. And they may have had like a film on it too.
In 1868.
Yeah, it probably didn't work right. It probably wasn't like that good, but they could do it. And maybe they just looked away every few seconds.
That's right. Like, again, I have no, what do you think I'm going to dispute? No, they discovered helium a different way.
Yeah.
That's fine. I mean, I think they would have discovered helium when they saw a balloon floating.
Right.
They're like, what's in that? And then they'll figure it out.
Go ask the guy who put it in there.
Yeah,
Hey,
first let me taste it. What's going on over here? Everything's crazy.
Yeah, this is the wackiest thing that science has ever discovered. No, I was reading up about it, and basically it's spectral emission lines. They're just these wavelengths that come off that are at a certain... It was at a certain wavelength and they didn't know what it was. And then later on they found helium and they were like, oh, it matches. Oh, there must be helium in the sun too. That must be part of what, is making it burn.
Yeah, I respect science.
No, you don't.
I do. I just don't care about I'm happy that someone's on top of all that stuff.
Yeah.
But it's not something that I feel like I need to be on top of.
But then you just take it at face value. You don't question it. You don't do your own research.
I don't do my own research.
Do you remember? Because I was reading about conspiracy theories about the eclipse and stuff. Because one thing I want to say before we get into that, because one of the theories revolved around Planet X. You remember Planet X?
No, I don't remember.
I feel like when I was in grade,
is it with apes on it?
I just remember in grade school.
I'm thinking of Project X or Planet of the Apes.
Hearing about Planet X all the time, that there was a planet on the other side of the sun. So we never saw it. It was in the same rotation as us. But
was this some sort of film?
Yeah, I'm sure there have been movies called Planet X and stuff, but I feel like it was kids were always talking about here, science thinks Planet X exists.
Right. Hypothetical Planet X.
Yeah.
Look, there's a whole page about it at science.nasa.gov. But
well, then there you go. That's all you need to know. They've confirmed it.
Well, Caltech researchers have found mathematical evidence suggesting that there may be a planet X deep in the solar system.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess that's like probably what these kids heard somewhere. That was like, oh, it's possible. They're like, there could be a planet we don't know about based on these equations. But but the schoolyard chatter was, I think, essentially that it was like a duplicate Earth, populated with evil versions of us.
Yeah,
that kind of
mustachioed versions.
Yeah. So keep clear. But
I just feel like, Tom, like you say, like, hey, the scientists can prove the existence of or the possibility of a planet by like doing equations. And I can say, I don't dispute that. But also, I don't understand how that works, and I don't care to understand how, like, you can do math and be like, well, that means there's a planet over there. Like, but I get it makes sense.
You don't dispute it, but I also think you're not sold on it either.
I'm not sold on it. I'm just like, that's good. Nobody's ever, in my lifetime, nobody's going to ever prove that right.
Maybe.
So, like, you know more than I do, and, like, you're right about more, not you, the scientists. So,
I consider myself part of that group.
Amateurs. You think you are, like, somewhat of a scientist, though, right?
Yeah, a little bit. I do some experiments and stuff.
I tried to clean. No, I was about to lie.
See, Tim, that's why you're not welcome into the scientific community like me.
Well, I aspired to clean this pan I have with white vinegar and baking soda.
Okay, you could have told me the truth. You could have lied. I don't think I would have called you out on it. Why were you going to bring that up now?
Because that's an experiment. Vinegar and baking soda.
That's how you make a volcano, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to make one in a greasy pan in my house.
Okay, yeah, give it a try. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I saw some TikTok recently where I think somebody was using that stuff to like clear out a clog in a drain. And the whole thing was like, stop using toxic chemicals, like blah, blah, blah. Use this. It's safe and everything. It's like, it's fine. Toxic chemicals go down my drain pipe.
It eats away at the drain, though.
Yeah, not my drain, not my problem.
Some of us have drains that we spend a lot of money on.
Yeah. Well,
I have a gold-plated drain.
Wow.
I replaced it myself.
What'd you replace it with? Plastic?
No, I had
just a regular
drain.
one.
Yeah.
And you put a gold one in.
It's like, let's make it golden. I'm a lot like a gold member.
from Austin Powers?
Yeah, from Austin Powers.
Yeah, you love gold.
Yeah, I love gold.
Tim, you were mentioning that some people are traveling to see this eclipse.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, if you're not in that zone of totality, you're not going to see the full eclipse.
Right.
And, like, seeing a partial eclipse is cool, but not as cool as a full eclipse. But
seeing no eclipse is fine, too.
Well, that's what I was going to say, that there are a lot of people traveling for this. And I saw something on, I think, one of the like conspiracy theory subreddits that I subscribe to. Somebody that lives in one of these zones of totality. And they were like, listen, man, something's going on. Like the government's got something planned. There's like all these preparations being made and like road closures and this and that. And people in the comments were like, yeah, it sounds like they're preparing for a lot of people to come there to see the solar eclipse. Like there's not a conspiracy about what the government's going to do during the solar eclipse to take advantage of everybody staring at the sun. It sounds like they're just preparing for a lot of people to come. But like, I don't know, is that going to be that exciting?
What? Looking at the
like, would you ever travel to see a solar eclipse?
You know what?
I can see it being a good thing to like plan something around, maybe like, I want to like go to Tennessee and camp or whatever. So like, let's do it during the eclipse.
The people, and I've heard a couple people who are traveling to see it, and it's not about the eclipse.
Yeah, it's about the friends you make. Eclipse friends.
It's about, like, there are people who are into science.
Mm-hmm. Like me.
They might even subscribe to Facebook pages like IFL Science. No, but there are people who are like, I know somebody who is like, oh, me and my brother, we've been planning this trip for like 5 years. And it's like, you know what?
Because they've known for thousands of years that it would happen.
Yeah, it's a bonding. And they only, 995 years later, these two guys heard about it. And they're like, but like, I know a woman who's like, my kids like love this, like are super into it. So and like, they're so excited. So we're going to take an overnight trip to wherever, like Carbondale, Illinois or wherever.
Yeah. And we're going to get them glasses. We're not just going to have them put a box on their
they'll
head.
be in the zone of totality, Tom. They can.
You still need the glasses.
You don't need the glasses. But, like, so I would travel with it if this was something that was important to someone that I care about. And it's any excuse to like have a nice time with.
That's true. I guess it's like a good excuse for going out and doing something, getting in nature.
And like, I don't know, there are people who are a lot more interested in, is this technically astronomy? Yeah, it's the cosmos, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like, there are people who are more interested in astronomy than me, and even you, Tom, if you can believe it.
No, I don't think so.
And, like, I don't begrudge people a hobby.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I might, if there was someone who this was important to.
Yeah. Well, it's important to me, Tim. Please take me to Illinois.
I would do it.
All right. Monday, we're going to Illinois.
Like, I think it's a little short notice.
Well, I just found out about it.
The biggest astronomy geek I know.
Maybe this is a dumb question, but don't you think it's a little weird that there's something in the sky we can't look at?
That's why I think it's bullshit. I mean, every day there's something in the sky we can't look at.
What do you mean every day?
You can't look directly at the sun.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Okay. What'd you think? Oh, you thought I was just talking about the eclipse.
Eclipse
no, I meant the sun in general.
Yeah, it's bullshit.
Yeah. Why'd they design it that way?
Take it up with God.
Hey, come up with a sun we can look at.
Another reason.
There's
a bone I have to pick with that guy.
another bonehead decision by God. A sun nobody can look at for too long. Did you know that is a popular Mandela effect thing? People claim that the sun used to be a lot more yellow than it was.
All right.
Than it
this
is.
Mandela effect thing. Everybody.
I think you're thinking of cartoons. So many Mandela effects are. Are you sure you're not mistaken? You're not thinking of cartoons?
Or like you thought things were a certain way when you were a child?
Yeah. Well, the biggest thing to me about all of it is the fact that it's called the Mandela effect because a bunch of people claim they remember Nelson Mandela dying in jail and never getting out, never becoming president. And it's like, yeah, but I've never heard somebody who's like, and I'm, the head of South African studies at Columbia University, and this is what I believed. It's like, no, a bunch of people that were like vaguely informed about that, which
not even vaguely informed, because like if you ask any of these people for the Mandela thing, like, oh, so in your reality, or in your recollection, what happened in South Africa, like on a macro scale,
right?
They'd be like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like, so, you got Nelson Mandela mixed up with somebody else.
Yeah. And instead of admitting that, which isn't even a crazy thing to admit, it's like, oh, yeah, I don't know. I live in America. I wasn't real up to date on South African history and Nelson Mandela and stuff. I feel like a bonehead. I thought he was dead. I must have been thinking of somebody else. Instead, you go, I must be from a different reality. Reality itself must have changed because I'm so sure
I'm
of
so
this
certain of this. And I don't know anything else about that other than
yeah. And like,
if you're like, if apartheid, kept going for years and this is.
Yeah, it led to more.
This was the first president after that who decried it. Like, if there was any of that, but.
Yeah, but they don't have that. They don't have the rest of the story of what happened. Yeah. I mean, I get it when it's like Berenstain versus Berenstein Bears. Like little things like that. But again, it's your kid.
All the time. Yeah, you're a kid.
Yeah.
And like Stein is a much more common ending for a last name than Stain.
Yeah.
And so you just assume, oh, yeah, it must be Berenstein.
They should still turn off that big hard-on collider, though, just to be sure.
I mean, I don't think, I don't know. That's another thing. It's like, I'm sure science has benefited from that. But then it's like, what are we even doing with science?
Coming up with a bunch of stuff you don't understand, you just have to take people at their word.
Yeah, you don't understand, but like, what are they doing for humanity with this information?
With right? Particle accelerators?
Yeah.
All kinds of stuff.
I feel like it's eventually just going to funnel into like, how can we make phones more like a casino?
I mean, not that stuff. Unfortunately, like a lot of science that's beneficial to creating better, cheaper, more powerful, cleaner energy is also like you could make weapons out of it. Like anything you can make a lot of energy with, you could also make a weapon out of.
Right. What about designing a love bomb, for example?
Yeah. With some kind of pheromones inside of it?
Yeah, or like
makes everybody
kindness missile, right?
Where googly-eyed. Tim, a couple of other conspiracy theories about the moon I want to bring up.
Okay.
One, there are some people that believe that the eclipse isn't real. What's happening is it's a software update for the moon hologram.
Okay.
There are some people that think it's a glitch, but they know when the glitch is going to happen, so it makes more sense that it's scheduled downtime.
Right.
Because
and the way to do it is like put it right out in the open.
Yeah, but hiding in plain sight.
It. Yeah.
That this is about lunar eclipses, I guess. Sometimes they got to turn it off, install the update, boot it fresh.
Right.
And sure, you could, I guess you can't do it during the daytime because it's always night somewhere. So you got to do it at some point.
It's always night somewhere, my friend.
So that the
Do you think there's like a Jimmy Buffett, but for the nighttime? Like instead of being like, I like the beach and sunny days, it's just like, isn't it great at night when we all get tucked into bed?
I think you're talking about Mac Tonight.
Ooh, yeah.
The piano crooner.
Yeah.
I think he's kind of the nighttime Jimmy Buffett.
Wouldn't it be nice if there was a guy that was just like, I'm putting
all the songs are about the nighttime. Just like how all Jimmy Buffett songs are about like
brew me up some chamomile tea.
Yeah. Maybe we should start the first night band. It'll be called the Nighttime 3. This could be Alabama 2.
Oh, yeah.
Alabama 2, Night. But it would kind of make sense. The shadow going across the moon, that's like the progress bar.
No, it doesn't make sense.
It makes a lot of sense.
Fucking
idiots
about it. Being idiots. I think the thing about when you tell me about conspiracy theories, again, it's just like, like you're trying to make it sound like it's not the dumbest thing ever, and it's always the dumbest thing ever. Yeah, it's like, you can see how it might not be the dumbest thing ever.
Well, you're going to be sorry because here's another one that makes a lot of sense. That the moon is an artificial satellite put there by aliens either to watch us or protect us or maybe both. And part of the explanation for this, Tim, is the insane odds. I don't know if you've ever thought about this. That
I guarantee you I have not.
That the moon and the sun are like the same size in the sky, that they can blot, or that, at least like the moon can blot out the sun and it fits perfectly in there.
At points.
During eclipses.
Right, but it's not always like the moon and the sun are the same size.
It is when they line up, though.
Yeah, and that happens rarely. So rarely.
No, it happens in other places, Excuse me, we just don't hear about it because,
yeah, but it's like day to day.
If there's going to be a solar eclipse in China, we're not hearing about it.
Tom, I know, but like it doesn't happen. Like, sure, I haven't thought about this, but like sometimes, like if you on any given day, right?
If you're a scientist mind,
if you're measuring how big the sun appears in the sky, and then that night how big the moon appears in the sky, however many percentage of the time it does not.
But
they're not
I'm
equal.
saying when they line up, they're the same size.
Yeah, but once in a while they line up.
Yeah,
and like that. But it's
when
rare.
They line up, it's not like they line up and sometimes the moon's small tonight though, so it's not covering the sun in totality. It always.
I'm sure that happens all the time.
No, it doesn't happen. What do you mean? I'm sure that happens all the time. Little eclipses.
No, like where the ring is bigger because
no, it doesn't happen. It's always like 1-to-1, and they don't really know why this is. The moon has a diameter of 3,474 kilometers, while the sun is 1,392,000. I just feel like kilometers.
I'm getting shouted down. I'm saying smart things.
This makes the moon appear as almost exactly the same size as the sun in Earth's sky, about 0.5 degrees across. However, the moon's orbit varies a little bit. If the moon were much smaller or farther away, it would not completely cover the sun. If it were larger, it would block the sunlight from even reaching the Earth, even outside of the eclipse. So there's... I mean, from what I can find, apparently the odds aren't like astronomical. The odds are 1 in 300 that would work out this way. But there are people that think,
there are people that think a lot of dumb things.
That the aliens maybe put the moon there because the moon protects us from a lot of asteroids. That's why the moon's so pockmarked.
Mm-hmm.
That it like just happens to be perfectly placed for really helping us out, scooping up, meteors, hitting that shield instead of hitting us. So the idea is that like a civilization put it there as a shield to help us out, which I think is a nice thing.
Mm-hmm. Cool. That's a great theory.
If you like the show, you can find out more at tcgte.com.
I don't know how to respond to that. I'm sorry. It would be nice if another civilization that we have no evidence of having existed, put a shield up so we didn't get hurt. That's a nice thought.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah,
it's nice.
I think it's nice.
Now say thank you.
Thank you, ancient alien civilization.
Now is that so hard?
You know what? It really wasn't, and it pains me that it took me 41 years to finally come around to
thank them. 41 years of denying that's but why the moon was
Tom,
there.
That's like
nothing.
A fraction of a second.
I mean, all the guys that did it, they're dead by now, bro.
We don't know.
Maybe not. Yeah, they could be crazy. You can go to tcgt.com to find out more about the show. You can find all our social media links, our subreddit, our Discord. Check out our Patreon, patreon.com/complete guide, where you can find episodes of a little show called Books the Podcast, where we read books. Where are we reading this week, Tim?
We're reading Big Trouble by Dave Barry, the boomer humorist, the boomerist.
The boomerist. I'm just looking real quick here, Tim, because Eclipse. Somebody suggested this topic. That's why we're doing it. Oh, I didn't load all the comments. But yeah, sometimes on our Patreon, we ask for suggestions. And
then you get to do work for us. Not only for free, you get to pay to do work for us.
You get to pay to do work, which is the best kind of work to do. Eclipses, suggested by Danny California, Tim.
Hey, thanks, Danny California.
She suggested a bunch, but that was the first one. That was the one where I was like, duh, why are we doing eclipses this week?
Yeah, maybe we should hire Danny California as
Why would we hire her when she's paying us?
I know. You know what? We say, like, now you're associate producer. That costs $40 a month. And you got to give us a new topic every week.
We'll just add more tiers to the Patreon. For $5,000 a month, you can record the show for us. Patreon.com/complete guide. You can find all that stuff. You can follow us on social media. I said the links are on tcgt.com. You can follow me at Tom Reynolds.
You follow me at Your Pal Tim. I don't really post anything. Tom, I did have a thought that I posted, and then I deleted it.
Oh, where'd you post it to? Oh, Blue Sky. Yeah. I haven't been posting much because I've been waiting for like everything to kind of shake out with all the social media stuff. To see where everybody lands. And it seems like nobody's really...
Yeah, maybe it all just lands in hell.
Yeah. I mean, I post to Instagram somewhat frequently-ish. Not that frequently.
I only post to close friends, and sorry, folks. Unless you... Or maybe that should be a tier on Patreon.
You get to be one of Tim's close friends. Yeah.
You get to see once every 3 weeks me post the picture of my kid.
Like a blurry picture of your son running by.
Yeah. You want to know my Blue Sky, my skeet was?
Well, why'd you say that?
I post. And I don't know if this is true, but I think it's true. You hear people saying more often, this is a question, nobody answered it. You hear people saying more often, this is a win-win-win?
Maybe.
And that was a joke on The American Office.
Oh, was it?
Where it was like...
It's better than a win-win.
It was like a win-win, and then like... But like, I feel like that's been adopted into the vernacular that like win-win has been replaced by win-win-win. Unironically, people think like that is the phrase.
Huh.
And it's... Is that the case? Do you hear people say win-win-win? Hey, sound off in the comments.
I've heard it, but I think I've only heard it in like situations where there are three parties. And they're all going to win.
Yeah. Oh.
I feel like I've been hearing it a lot in terms of like, the government wants to like regulate this and it would actually be good for the company. So the government wins, the company wins, and the customers win. Right. Like if they just, usually it's like, not something the company wants to do, but it's like, they could, whatever.
This hypothetical has gone too far.
Yeah. But I could see that. I mean, I hear how the turns have tabled a lot, and I could see that becoming one day, people not realizing that's not the way you say it. Wow. Huh. I'll keep an eye out for it, Tim.
I mean, I guess this is just how language evolves, huh?
It is. But I mean, that's how we wind up with like the hardest to learn language with a bunch of fucking sayings that don't make any sense.
Yeah.
Okay. English, keep it impenetrable.
Any last words on the eclipse? Are you going to look at it?
Yeah, but I'm going to get the glasses.
I'm going to get the glasses too, as long as there's not a big rush because you told everybody you can get them at the library.
You're not, I know you're going to take the glasses off.
Should I bother with a 2-year-old trying to get him to wear the glasses and look at it?
I wouldn't even like bring it up to him.
Yeah.
I mean, if anything, if it gets dark in the street, that will be cool. And like he might
freak out.
Yeah. But I can't imagine.
He'll be at daycare.
Yeah. Even if you got glasses, I imagine he'd be like, all right. Like I've barely noticed the sun before.
You know what? He's going to be at daycare. His teachers are great, but there's a good chance they'll be like, there's an eclipse. Let's all go outside and look at it and just like not know that you're not supposed to. And I can't help that.
Well, bring this episode with you on Monday when you drop off your son.
Oh, the first thing I want is for everybody at the daycare to understand that I have this thing.
They'd be like, yeah, we listened to it, and it sounded like you don't think people need any kind of protection to look at the sun. We told your son just to not look at it for too long. And that's fine.
We're going to have to put a disclaimer on this, aren't we?
Don't look at the sun.
Don't look at the sun.
We'll see you next week.
That was a HeadGum podcast.